Y'all, I had to add the extra intro in there because I have forgot my shady glasses. So let's go ahead and get into the tea because the tea is hot and I got to hit the road. Okay. So welcome to the room, everybody. Hopefully you had a chance to get in, get acclimated, say hello to your people, tell us where you're coming from and all that good stuff like that. We about to get into a couple of things regarding Beverly Hills, baby. And you know what? It's like is the moment I start to be like, yes, Erika, yes, girl, you are it. You have redeemed yourself. You are back in my good graces, at least. Not that it matters to her, but in my mind, I was like, oh, she done made this great comeback. Boom, shake the room. Then she goes and says something like this. Okay. Let's get into what she had to say. I ain't gonna play the whole thing because it don't belong to me, it belongs to the ET. So you're just gonna get a clip.
Who would you want to hear more from?
I'd like for Sutton and Garcelle to reveal their lives.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Let me pick that apart real quick. You want them to reveal their lives. That is so ironic. Coming from from a lady who, when she first came on this show for the first several years, we didn't know nothing about you. We knew about your husband. We knew that you was the pop star, okay? Not Britney, not Christina, not Mandy Moore, okay? Not Christina Milian, okay? Not any of those. But you was doing a little pop thing on your own, and we knew that you had a cathedral in your house. Okay, but outside of that, we knew that you just had a nasty attitude towards Teddy, and we ain't minded because we ain't really like Teddy on the show. That's about it. The only thing that we got really from you in your early years was that you got upset with Eileen Davis, of all people, okay, because she made an analogy about your son, who we don't really know much about otherwise. But let's compare the two, okay? Because Eileen was made to bow down and respect your son and his occupation. Yet you, my dear, were able to zero in on Garcelle's son at Garcelle's event and tell him to shoo and get on up out of here while the adults are talking, okay? Said son was also harassed online ad nauseum. Said son has had so much go on with these ladies in this show that said son won't even be on the show no more. So y'all done worked her son off the show when we can't even see yours. Riddle me that. Y'all were so deep in Sutton's esophagus, you were on her insides last season, okay? Y'all had reached y'all long fingernails down into Sutton's esophagus and doggone near pulled it out of her because y'all didn't understand her medical condition and didn't believe it was true. Mind you, she took you on a trip, threw ashes all over you guys, told you all about her divorce. It is revealed how much she actually gets from said divorce. And yet they haven't opened up their lives. Speaking of Garcelle and her sons, to bring it back, we also know about her son's addictions. She opened up about that. Even when his interactions with the cast on Vanderpump Rules, I think it was, impacted what happened on the show, she brought him to the show. She actually filmed, did she film with Lisa Vanderpump? I believe she did. Whether it was on that show or this show, she was there. The woman is working. These two ladies have opened up their lives. But in comparison, Erika, while I do like you and I do think that you are fabulous and I love a comeback, I don't think you should ever fix your lips to say that. And let me tell you the last reason why. The only reason why your life was opened up like a can of worms was because of Tom. Had it not been for him and his misgivings, allegations, we would still not know a doggone thing about you and that marriage. As you admit in this episode, you admit that you understood Dorit's position about, making everything appear to be fine. So much so that when the divorce actually was announced, we didn't even believe that you were divorcing for reasons other than to get out of the scandal that he was involved in. So to me, your life was opened up like Pandora's box only from the perspective of your husband's legal issues and your reluctance to answer questions about it, and you give your feelings about it. Period. It allowed you the opportunity to come out like a lion with claws to defend yourself. Okay? That's it. That's the reason. Let's be for real. If that had not happened, we would know as much about you as we did before. Oh, and that you got a glam squad. I just don't like that. I don't like that notion. And then let's take a step further. She then says this, because the question is kind of leading her to this, which I don't like these types of interview questions because it leads to a certain answer. So listen to it.
Are there things that you are privy to that the audience isn't privy to?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
If you know, so if you know that there's nothing that the audience is privy to, girl, what the heck are you talking about? But that ain't the question that I'm talking about.
But I just feel as if, nothing is as it appears.
Girl, you would know that better than anyone else. Is it that, to me, you feel like because that was your reality, that is all of a sudden everyone else's? I mean, did Garcelle not also tell us that she sent her ex-husband's company an email when she found out about his alleged affair? I have to say alleged because I can't remember. But did she not tell us that information right off the rip? It was asked and she told it. But this is the question that bothers me.
Do you buy into the conversation that happens online that they kind of do fan service and almost perform what they think the viewer wants versus just living authentically on the show?
See, that question is leading her in a direction. And I do feel like though she was already headed there, I feel like it didn't help the situation. So this is going to make the headline, which technically is smart. So I got to give it to him.
The show?
At times, yes.
Okay. Now, I think it's just so far beyond the realm of possibility for her to believe that there are other people on the show who could have relationships similar to the ones that she has built on the show. But that also makes me think, if you're so quick to think that everything is not as it seems, and it could be that, in my opinion, you may think that because that was the case for you, and that may have been the case for PK and Dorit, and understandably so. Not everybody wants to air all those private moments and arguments. But then when it comes time for the truth to come out about it, and they want to blab it out, now it's hard for us, the audience, to really catch up because we weren't privy to all of that, right? So then it makes me believe that if you think that everybody has something that is not as it seems, then it would also be reason enough for me to believe that you would think that they are performing fan service by being, like, quote unquote, for some people, fan favorites. Also, you might think that they are simply together because it works better for them. But maybe you think that because it works better for you and your friends. Remember the Fox Force 5? Remember when all 5 of y'all was so inseparable that couldn't nobody do y'all part? Me and you must never part, my. Remember that? When it was you, Lisa Rinna, Dorit, and Kyle and Teddy against the world? You remember when y'all came together with that Fox Force 5? And now all of a sudden the leopards are each eating each other's faces. Girl, like, no, everybody ain't like y'all. Everybody not like y'all. Everybody not like y'all. Mildred, I could possibly open up some on Friday. I'll put up a note in the community tab. In case you missed it. But so I just kind of feel like, again, I like Erika this season because I feel like she's, she has a delicate balancing act to play with between two good friends from her former Fox Force 5 co-stars. But I also feel like sometimes she just says stuff. I almost said the bad word. I feel like sometimes she just says stuff to stir up some controversy because she ain't got nothing else really going on. I feel like this is one of those instances. Similar to when she was asked about who was the next celebrity breakup on their show, and she said PK and Dorit, and then had to live to regret it. But now it's true. I mean, I feel like this is one of those moments. At the time she said, I was asked a shady question, so I gave a shady answer. Girl, are you just being shady again? And the crazy thing about reality TV is this. At some point in time, Sutton and Garcelle are going to disagree. That doesn't mean that they won't still come back and be friends. I think what it is they have more trust in themselves together than they do with the rest of y'all. Because Sutton even tells us in this episode, yeah, I'm going to hang out with Kyle. I'm going to be there for Kyle, but I never said I trusted her. And I'm like, smart, Sutton, smart woman you are. I mean, you know what? We see what it is. We see what it is, boo. We see it. We see it. My thought is with Sutton and Garcelle is they are two women who are divorced, who found a common bond in the fact that they felt like they could trust each other the most on this show. It ain't no different from the same level of trust that was built between the Fox Force 5 when they had it. So if I'm joining a show where there are 5 women who have seemingly all band together to support each other, one another, why would I not connect with the only other person that will also potentially have my back when it's 5 against 2? Math, okay? Even if they weren't BFF to begin with, doggone it, the bonds of work will make you stronger. Ask anybody that's got a work wife or a work husband. Okay. And the fact is, we see these women also travel together. I mean, we saw Dorit and Kyle travel together, but I guess Erika might not believe, that Sutton and Garcelle are traveling together because they're real friends, because Kyle got on her Amazon Live and said, well, we weren't real friends. We just went on a few trips together about Dorit. So maybe Erika's looking at Kyle and Dorit and thinking the same things about Sutton and Garcelle. Maybe that's why she thinks this way. You know what? It's like the person that's in a relationship that's always accusing somebody of cheating, and they always be accusing because they so paranoid because they doing it. That's what it's given. It's like ain't nobody got time for all that. Anyway, and the last thing I'm gonna say about that is you are upset likely because these women haven't had to have a scandal the way that you did. And again, that scandal, blame your husband, ex-husband, whatever he may be at this point. Now, let's get into the episode. I just had to get that off my chest. The episode is season 14, episode 2, A Sobering Separation. Kyle and Dorit's fractured friendship remains hanging in the balance. Bose opens up about, well, she just opens up. Sutton and Erika join forces to dole out a slice of divorce advice for Kyle. PK and Dorit take a sobering look at their marriage and separation. So we'll talk about the scenes as they sort of were laid out for us. Kyle and Dorit are still at the surrealism party. I would have been wearing my surrealism shades, but I got on a hat that don't really work with that circular glass. So we got the quay back. Okay. Now, here we are. At this point in time, Kyle is doing what Kyle does best. And she is making this entire situation about her. Every situation that Kyle described that Dorit supposedly didn't have her back on, I just feel like was cockamamie. The moment that she's talking about on at BravoCon, where Andy asked which sister she was closest to, Dorit was closest to, and Kyle, in her haste to make Dorit say what she wanted her to say, when I'm sure Dorit would have said that anyway, she ends up toppling over the shot before Dorit can even answer the question. And so Dorit gets like annoyed as the shot is going on to her outfit. And she says, well, now I'm going to choose Kathy. At that moment in that clip, you see Kyle laugh. Girl, what did you do? Get mad later? Like, I mean, what? It seems like an excuse. And I really honestly am on Dorit's side in this. I feel like what happened was, I think that Kyle got upset when Dorit said on Watch What Happens Live that she felt like ever since Kyle started to get closer and closer to Morgan, she got further and further away from her. That was the moment that sealed the deal for Kyle, where she felt like, boom. And then, and you know the reason why I know that? The reason why I believe that is because then she says, well, the reason I said what I said on Amazon was because I felt like, no, if you felt that way, then you felt that way. But if the only reason you said it was because of my action, then that tells me you did not mean it. You said it to hurt my feelings, and you did it on a public platform where you knew it would be picked up and you knew how I would feel about it, period. So stop gaslighting and trying to make it seem like you weren't just upset. And I agree with Dorit. This is something that really bothers. This chaps my butt. If you get mad at me about something that happened 2 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, last year, and you don't tell me, you have a problem and I don't. And the reason why is because you, in not telling me, don't give me the opportunity to fix it. That is logic to me. Logic dictates, if you have a problem, just call me up and gently say, hey girl, like that, what you said, I did not like that. And it really got me into trouble with Morgan, who we shall not name on the show no more. And so I'm in my feelings about it. So I just need a couple of days, but I needed to let you know that's better than then coming back later and then just completely dismissing the person and shutting them down. So I agree 100% with Dorit. It's like, girl, I'm not going to put up with this BS no more that you keep trying to dish out and that you do to other people, because I done seen how you do because I'm close to you. And because I'm close to you, I know how you move. And so now that I see every move that you're making, just like chess, I can call you out on it and beat your bluff. Okay? And Kyle did not like that one single bit. I'm not saying Kyle doesn't have any reason to feel certain types of ways about whatever she does, but it's kind of like this. If you don't communicate it, then I don't know. And if I don't know, I can't fix it. So, like, you got to say something, but it ain't got to be an argument. Just simply say, girl, that hurt my feelings. Why would you say that? Boom. Problem solved. She can say, I'm sorry. That's how I felt at the time, but I maybe shouldn't have said it on that platform. Period. End of story. So as Kyle is asking, now it's, oh my God, Dorit, I mean, I've had a rough past 2 years. Give me some grace. Well, clearly, Dorit been arguing with a PK who has been drinking so much that he don't even barely remember himself no more for the past 2 years. They've been hiding it from the cameras. Clearly, Dorit, Effie, we all got pain. Okay, so at this point in time, it's like Dorit is like, girl, grace time is over. I think I've given you too much grace, and I'm not doing it no more because you're not gonna keep treating me like your punching bag. Because, girl, I got problems too. And Kyle, at that moment, gets to sipping that water. I'm leaving. You're not yourself anymore. You're not yourself today. And it's like, girl, no, I'm not myself. Okay? I'm not myself. And Dorit in that moment claims, which I thought was a little too much, I've got to have a voice now. And I'm going to have that voice. And I'm going to give you the finger camera. At that point, I was like, okay, girl, that was too much. You didn't really need to do that. But if they were trying to convey what I think that they were, was we know that the audience has been thinking Dorit has been nothing but an animatron for the past couple of seasons and ain't really been doing all of that much work on the show. I think what she needed to do was, I think she was trying to correct that assertion. What she should have said in that moment, in my opinion, was, you know, for the past several years, I have really sat back and I have taken everybody's crap, even Kyle's. And being her friend, I have had to be the more submissive person. In my relationship, I've taken a lot of crap and I've had to be the submissive person. And I don't want to be that person no more. I am tired. I am so tired. And I feel like these people have pushed me to a point of no return. That is what you say, because that sounds more authentic than saying, I have a voice now. Girl, you've been had a voice. You just didn't use it. JMW says Dorit was told to turn it down after her first season to blend with the alliance, and she fed putting up with everybody else's needs before her own. I believe that too, because Dorit first season came in like a wrecking ball. You know what I'm saying? And she stepped into all the pitfalls, but it felt organic. Lisa Rinna did the same thing her first season. So if you just do what you've been doing without over exaggerating it, that keeps you on the show longer. It does. That way you ain't gotta all of a sudden find a voice. That way you ain't got, but you know, I understand the nature of this show is sometimes that I know who the queen bee is and I want to be in alliance with the queen bee because then I'll stay on the show longer. No, you stay on the show longer, but by actually saying what you think and what you feel and just moving in that direction. All right, so the next scene that we see, we get a proper introduction to Bose. And to be quite honest with you, I was like, yes, give it all to me. Oh, baby, bring it all to me. Okay. Give me all of the hair, give me all of the accolades, give me all of the things. All I ask is that you always keep it 100. Okay. I don't need Bose to be worried about her image. I just need her to show up and be her authentic self. Ask the questions that you need to ask because you are new to the group. And that's how you shake the table. Okay. Period. I love it. I love it because at one point when she was standing at the step and repeat and the girl was asking for her information, she's like, honey, I'm not going to give you that information. You're going to have to hit up my assistant. You want a job or something? No, but we can take this picture together. Okay. I love it. I love it. She tells her story. You know, we learn about her husband. We learn about, you know, the trials that she went through with losing him, you know, her daughter and whatnot. I thought it was a spectacular introduction, a real introduction that they didn't give us in the first episode because I felt like they focused on the glam of it all. But I think that this was really a good way for us to really get to know her, for those of us who maybe did not. And we did learn, yes, Monica, that she is that girl. Like, and I love that. And I kind of love that she is getting to know Dorit in a way that feels authentic, because I do feel like, you know, we know Garcelle and Dorit, they're like oil and water. But I like that. I like that they are oil and water because everybody don't get along, right? I like that. It's just a natural thing. They just don't mix. They just don't mix. No matter how hard they try, they just do not mix. So it's nice to see that, you know, Bose is kind of just coming in and asking questions like, what's going on with you and Kyle, right? Which we'll talk about more in a second. Well, actually, let's talk about it now, because Dorit and Erika go visit Bose at her home, and I love that Bose is like, take them shoes off. Take them shoes off before you bring that outside up in here, okay? I got you some slippers too. Now, see, that's my thing. If I go to your house and you ask me to take off my shoes, I'm a hypocrite, okay? I'm a hypocrite. Let me stop there, because when you come to my house, I ask that you take off my shoes, and I have not provided you with some slippers. I will correct that myself right now. I am a hypocrite. I 100%. I am that person. Take them shoes off. You should have wore the right socks. No. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start getting some slippers for the people. That's what I'm gonna do, because that's what Bose did. And Bose is, as Monica says, that girl. And I need to be that guy and have some slippers or some footies when you come into the door. I do. It was me. It's me. I'm the problem. I'm not even gonna lie. I ain't gonna even lie. It's me. I did it. It's Professor Plum in the library with the candlestick. I did it. Bose is asking about, girl, what's going on with you and Kyle? And, Dorit's like, I don't know. She, unless I acquiesce to her, she on some other stuff. And I'm not acquiescing no more. Then they ask about, the divorce and whatnot. And I'm going to save that conversation to when we get to it, because I think it's more interesting to see it in action and talk about it in action. So the next thing we see is the girls gathering. Well, we also see this conversation is juxtaposed with Sutton and Kyle having a conversation on the rooftop of a hotel. I have been to that hotel, I think that rooftop, and had drinks there, and the drinks are fire. Sutton has had some Botox, but Kyle can't tell. And Kyle is just, to me, Kyle is always just super shady to Sutton. And I don't like, Sutton, girl, why are you friends with her? But at the end of the day, Sutton, for some reason, seems to be a glutton for punishment. Sutton, the glutton, is a glutton for punishment from Kyle. But at least I know, because the producer asked, do you trust Kyle? And Sutton is like, I never said I did. And I'm so thankful, girl, because you should not, okay? Because she'll turn on you in a heartbeat. We've seen it before, and she'll turn on a heartbeat and yank you like a rag doll. I done seen it happen. Refer back to a couple of seasons ago. Now, she essentially tells Kyle, listen, girl, divorce hard and it can get ugly. So you need to go ahead and probably file first and get yourself an attorney, file first and get this thing over with. We later learned that Mauricio has replaced Kyle's photo in the home office with a photo of him and the lady that he dancing with on Dancing with the Stars. Now, to me, that's petty. Because for real, like, I ain't got to do all that. Even if we get if the divorce is happening, we still living in the same home, I'm going to save that photo for my new home. Because 9 times out of 10, he got a home down the street that he probably done already had. And that's not me making an allegation. That's me making a speculation. I would imagine that if you are an agent, a real estate agent for the agency, the owner, that you probably have several homes that you can actually go to. So to me, to hang up that photo, you should have took that at don't put it up at the agency where the daughters can see. Don't put it up in your home for the wife to see. That to me is just petty behavior. And that to me is also an indication that Kyle needs to definitely listen to these divorced ladies when they tell her, girl, you think it's all going to be all gravy. And listen, when it comes to money and assets and people, it sounds great when you're building it, but it sounds very difficult when you're tearing it apart. Okay? It's very easy to dig a hole, but it's hard to get out of. All right? Remember that. Trust and believe. Very easy to dig a hole, but it's hard to climb out of. And so at the end of the day, I do agree. Kyle, you need to probably go ahead and get your attorney and, make things as easy as possible. I know that you believe that he will not, try to take you for everything that you are worth and try to, leave you out in the street. I don't believe he's that type of man. But he is the type of man that will replace your photo in his office, in your home, with a photo of him and another woman. There you go. It starts there. You need to open up your eyes. Again, I ain't saying he's a bad man. I'm not saying he's going to try to take you for everything it's worth, but that's weird energy. Okay? Very weird energy. So we then see a scene where they learn that some of the ladies learn that, this has happened. This picture has happened in Kyle's home. And so Sutton gathers Erika and Kathy to get together to go over to Kyle's house to cheer her up. Now, they're going to do this under the guise that Kyle is unexpected. She doesn't expect them to come. And Kathy is going to play an Amazon delivery person in her Darth Vader voice. And it's like, girl, no. But if I'm Kathy, for me, I would have a hard time being around Erika, because it was Erika and Lisa Rinna who was basically trying to out Kathy as being some type of crazy person, psychotic, like just yelling and screaming and going off at the top of her lungs. Don't y'all remember that? So I'm looking at this get together like, Kathy, you a real forgiving person, because without a public apology, I don't think that I would be around this girl, even for the sake of my sister. Like, no, you owe me an apology, and until you get one, I'm not baking pizza pies with you. No, get out of here. But for some reason, Kathy must have a short memory, except when it comes to Mauricio, because when they get there, baby, that Kathy is like, I ain't got no time for him. He girl, you see him in the gym trying to show off and flex for these women, for these thirst traps and whatnot. I see it. I know you see it. And he looks older too. I mean, he looking buff, but he looking old in the face. He looked too old for you, Kyle. And Kyle is like, don't be mean. And Kathy in her confessional, I love it. This was the first time I have probably seen Kathy be this shady, because she was like, listen, he has had some things to say allegedly about, Hilton and Highland, for which he used to work. I think that was the case. And, I would just for him to just move on and stop saying nasty things on his lame show. Now, she didn't say lame show. The headline said it. But it was still probably the shadiest thing that we're gonna ever get from Kathy Hilton in this scene, where she is shading Mauricio and his buff body but old face, according to Kathy, not me. Okay. So they yet again try to advise her, girl, you need to make some moves. Let's make some moves. Let's make some moves. Let's make some moves. Listen, it now. Is it Satilia? I don't know what you're trying to say. Are you just screaming? But I'm gonna see in the next message if you still screaming, because I can't tell if it's spam or if you just as shook as we are. So just let us know if you real, or if you's a bot or something like that, because I can't really tell right now. Okay. So anyway, they try to tell Kyle, hey, girl, you need to probably make some moves on this divorce. And Kyle is like, oh, no, Maurice is not like that. Meanwhile, picture of Mauricio sitting up in there like this lady right here, not this lady, but like this photo right here, sitting there with the new lady from Dancing with the Stars, and not you. He done replaced you, and you sitting in another room somewhere, probably underneath the chair, underneath the desk, probably thrown in the trash can. And now here you are sitting in the scene talking about it's just not like that. It's just not contentious like that. Well, we're not saying it's going to be contentious, but what we are saying is that you see how quickly you was replaced. This is how quickly you were replaced, girl. So I need you to start paying attention to these people who have been divorced. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, they make their pizzas, and again, in yet another moment of openness, Sutton shares, much to Erika's shock. I mean, clearly, Erika doesn't think that Sutton and Garcelle do enough. I mean, God forbid, because Garcelle was in Atlanta working the entire episode, trying to work her little butt to the grindstone and keep a job. Sutton opens up her esophagus, no less, to tell Erika and the group that she no longer even gets the holiday cards from her ex-husband. And Erika, in what is very telling to me, is like, well, girl, at least you still getting the money. You getting something. And you know what? To me, that sort of gives me an idea of Erika's frame of mind. And I know, okay, to a certain degree, it could sound like, well, Sutton, what are you complaining about? You getting some money. But at the end of the day, too, it's also the fact that Sutton was married to this man, and she's talking about feelings, and Erika, you are talking about finances. Those are two different conversations. And if you can't be sensitive to the fact that Sutton is having an expectation that she thought was going to happen with the level of amicability in their relationship, that's what she's talking about. You, my dear, are focused on the money because you're not getting it. But I thought you did get something, because I thought allegedly something was set aside for you with a friend to help you along the way. And to be quite fair, you are also getting a check from a show for which you are paid to show your life. So you're getting something from all of this. Sounds good to me. Meanwhile, we then go to a conversation with PK and with Dorit. This was the conversation that we probably needed to see last year or the year before last, but we didn't know that PK was getting drunk like that. We did not know he was hitting the bottle like that. We just now finding this out. It's all new information to us, and now we have got to catch up. They sit down for a conversation. PK comes in his new outfit and announces single PK in the building. Come get it, ladies. And I'm like, that is so crass to me. Like, I get it that you are ready to be single and ready to mingle, but you are still talking to your wife. At the end of the day, like, keep those shenanigans someplace else. The same way Mauricio needs to keep that picture of him and that girl someplace else too, right? So coming in and single PK in the building, it's just overkill, I think, and it's just really to rub it in her face that she is still emotionally invested in this relationship and you are ready to move on. And that's fine. I get it. You are ready to move on. He makes that very clear. The problems in their relationship were apparently the way that they spoke to each other. It progressively got worse. I would also assume that it's kind of difficult to understand if he was drunk when they were having those conversations and they were getting progressively worse, or if they were getting worse because he got sober. I'm not really quite sure. But what I do know is that he says if they spoke to the waiter the way that they spoke to each other, that they would be kicked out. And I will say that's a deal breaker in most relationships. Relationships can maneuver through a lot of things, but you have to be conscious about the yelling and cursing at each other, because once you start saying things like, I hope you fall down the stairs and break your neck, like that's when you're probably not in the right relationship. Like, I mean, anything that would lead you to say that, and if you are the type of person that says that but doesn't really mean it, then you need to take a really good look in the mirror, because when you start speaking those things into existence, I'm the type of person that, like, you got to be careful about what you wish for, baby, because if it happens, and a lot of times the things that you are wishing happens to somebody else may end up happening to you. So if y'all speaking to each other like that, it's probably best that you do divorce, because if the kids end up hearing it, they're going to think that's normal. And then to top it off, the moment y'all start speaking to each other like that and it becomes norm, then that type of speak is just going to continue. So you really have to watch how you speak to your partner about, sensitive issues, because you don't want that to become a pattern. And if it becomes a pattern, sooner or later, one person is going to get tired of it. And it sounds like that's where PK is, especially now that he's sober. But I definitely don't agree with him being like coming in the door, single PK in the building, shots on me. Well, no shots because I'm sober. Whatever. All I know is that, he's like, and we're not going to be talking every day either. We got to get over this codependency, girl. I got a show to do on Hulu or something like that. So chop. Is your driver outside yet? I got to go. It really gave kind of cold to me. And I feel like Dorit, I understand why she's in this state that she's in. And I think we're seeing a side of their relationship that we didn't see before. And I think that this is what's interesting to me. It's very interesting to me that Dorit stuck by PK when he was going through all of those financial issues. But now that you have your show on Hulu, now that Mauricio got his show and doing all of his things, it's just interesting, the commonality there, that now that you're getting these television shows, you're doing these big things, suddenly you don't need these women no more. Very interesting. It's just I just happen to notice the theme there. I'm not saying that's the case, but it's just funny how there's a parallel there. And I don't know if anybody else sees that. Do y'all see it? Because it's kind of like, oh, that's so interesting. And you want Dorit to be out every night, which is so interesting to me. Like, we're at a certain, like, once you get to a certain age, I don't want to be out every night. Okay. And they got kids too. Like, what do you want? I'm not the, what? PK and Dorit's relationship honestly sounds more akin to something that maybe Michael and Ashley experienced, where you have this older man who is very successful. A lot of his career could depend on his business dealings in and around the country, where he has to wheel and deal, move and shake, and he wants his, youthful wife with him on his arm, looking like the doll that he felt like he made her up to be. Or in Ashley's situation, in a situation where they're a bit more free with what they do in and around the bedroom, allegedly. I don't know, according to the episode from last Sunday. And now that the wife is kind of like, I have some things going on for myself, and I can't be out every night like that. It seems like, oh wait, I signed up for something else, so you're not giving me what I want no more. And now that I'm like of sober mind for PK, he's like, I'm out this thing. You ain't what I thought I was getting. And we talking to each other crazy. So PK is gone. I think he more gone than Mauricio, to be honest with you. Anyway, that's the tea. Listen, I gotta run because I gotta get on the road, and I got a Zoom at 7. For anybody that signed up for the Rich Life, text if you text Rich Life to 202-918-3386, and you want to know about these deep discounts that I'm talking about for travel, restaurants, movies, all like anything that you're doing in your life that you want to, get some deep discounts on, especially for me, travel. Okay, I'm talking 5-star hotels, 4-star hotels. I'm talking 5-night stays wherever I want to go. When I look into my membership, that's what I'm talking about. If you signed up for that, I'm going to send you an email for a Zoom at 7 p.m. But if you are not on that list, this will be the last. I think this will be the last week that I do this list on this text message, on the text chain, because then I'm gonna switch over to a newsletter. So if you are interested in any way, hop on that list. Text Rich Life to 202-918-3386, because it's the last week I'll probably send out that information in that texting community that way. Because that texting community, it is expensive, baby. It is expensive. But I still want to be able to get y'all the good information and let y'all know what's going on and what I'm doing. So, and you definitely don't want to miss the call tonight at 7 p.m. as we kind of review the how the membership works. But beyond that, y'all listen, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell button, pray for my traveling mercy, please, please, please. And keep my family in prayer. Y'all know I've told y'all kind of what's going on. So we still ongoing with that whole situation. So like I said, keep my family in prayer. Y'all know I love y'all. And for those of you guys who don't understand how I do my reviews, don't really take anything that I say, to heart about these people, because I'm not trying to tear these people down. I'm really just trying to give y'all what I see on the screen in a way that feels fun, entertaining, and enlightening. Okay, so with that being said, y'all know what's up, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.